focus, audio. All right, think we're good?
Hi, I'm Vicky from the production team. Welcome to this new OCUS live session. Today, we are going to talk about the perfect photo shoot. For more content, subscribe to our channel. Ready? Let's start. First of all, who is your client? As a professional photographer working with OCUS, you are in contact with many stakeholders. It is essential for you to clearly understand who they are and what their role is. As OCUS is the entity ordering and paying for your services, we are your client. And as such, we have requirements in terms of image quality, but also in terms of professionalism and timeline. But as you know, every photo shoot we order to you is delivered to OCUS's client, the final client. It is actually their needs and their requirements that OCUS passes on to you. In other words, the final client orders images to OCUS, who orders them to you. The last stakeholders that you will encounter is the on-site contact. The on-site contact is not your client. They are the person with whom you will organize the shoot, but they are not supposed to give you any directions in terms of image quality and composition. The tricky part with the on-site contact is that they usually are the clients of the final client. So it is really important to make the photo shoot a great experience for them. In other words, with a perfect photo shoot, you'll make 3 clients happy at once. To make the perfect photo shoot, you need to meet both the final client and the on-site contact expectations. What are the final client's expectations? When ordering a photo shoot with OCUS, the final client is looking for 2 things: consistent and high-quality pictures to boost their sales and the ones from their client, and service quality to ensure the satisfaction of the on-site contact, as you will be representing the final client brand. What are the on-site contact expectations? The on-site contact will expect you to be as professional as possible and make sure they understand your work and its value. Bring a high level of business expertise to create the best quality of picture that will highlight their work through your images. Now that you know all about the client and their expectations, let's talk about a few tips that will help you ensure their satisfaction. And a perfect photo shoot starts with a perfect preparation. Step 1. Read and understand the guidelines. The key to any OCUS shoot is the guidelines. Each final client has different requirements, but all of them expect OCUS photos to be consistent with one another. To ensure both this consistency and their satisfaction, photographers need to read, understand, and apply the photoshoot guidelines. Step 2. Write a photoshoot checklist. One thing that we advise professionals working with OCUS is to write a photoshoot checklist. Guidelines are quite long, very detailed, and different for each final client. So once on the photoshoot, it can be easy to either forget some important information or to confuse guidelines between clients. Images that do not meet the guidelines can lead to a reshoot. So the simple fact of writing down the main point of a guideline, camera settings, angle, lighting, composition, and taking these with you on the day of the shoot can avoid you a lot of struggle. Step 3. Get in touch with the on-site contact. There are 2 kinds of assignments on the OCUS map: the pre-scheduled shoots and the unscheduled ones. In both cases, the photographers need to get in touch with the on-site contact to confirm the pre-scheduled date or set an appointment, but also to confirm with the on-site contact the address of the shoot and let them know what the photographer will need for them to ensure the success of the photo shoot. It can be the number of dishes to prepare for a food photo shoot or a certain room composition for a real estate shoot. This first contact must be done right after the shoot assignment, as we ask every photographer to leave an update on their assignment page within 2 days after the assignment of the shoot. This step is often forgotten, but it is very important to enable the client to view at what stage each shoots are. If there is any issue that prevents you from moving forward with the shoot, the client needs to know that. Step 4. Double check your equipment. Last but not least, double check that you pack all the needed equipment for each of your shoot. It might seem like a silly advice, but it can save you from a lot of annoying situations. To summarize, before the shoot, you need to make sure that you know who is the final client and what their requirements are, and that the on-site contact will be ready for the photo shoot. Now, the guidelines tend to describe the perfect photoshoot in the perfect conditions. But let's be realistic. Perfect conditions are not always there. The good news is that despite complicated conditions, you can still deliver the perfect photoshoot. Let's look at some concrete situations on site. Photographers might need to support the sales pitch. Some photographers have given us feedback that they sometimes had to support the sales pitch. Yes, it can happen. On our end, communications are sent out to the on-site contact to explain the purpose of the photoshoot and how it will unfold. But sometimes they have not read the information, it ended up in their spam box, or they have questions. So the photographers have to give the on-site contact the photoshoot information again. If you face a situation like this, the main information they'll need to know is who you are, who is your client, and what the photos will be used for, and how it will help their businesses. Some clients have indicated us that dishes with photos on their app are 2 times more sold than dishes presented without photos. They will also need to know how long the photoshoot will require and what you will need from them to create the perfect images. And if after that the on-site contact does not want to move forward with the shoot, inform us through the assignment page. What are the on-site conditions and how you can adapt to them? Respecting the guidelines can sometimes be challenging, as you will not always be in the perfect conditions to do the photoshoot. In that case, you might have to adapt a little bit to the conditions, deviate from the guidelines, but keep in mind that the most important thing for the clients in terms of images is the quality and the consistency of the photos. Let's now see some of the most common situations in which photographers have to adapt. Lighting. In order not to affect the quality of your images, you sometimes need to adapt the lighting. For instance, adapt your camera settings if the natural light is low. By the way, if you want more information about lighting on OCUS shoots, watch our Lighting OCUS live episode.
1, 2.
The number of photos. It often happens for food photography that the on-site contact does not want to provide you with as many dishes as required. In this case, you can adapt to them, but try to guide them into the right directions. For multiple dish composition, we always advise to have a minimum of 3 dishes, otherwise the photo will look quite poor. Another common example for food photography is the lack of plates in restaurants. Guidelines require every dish to be plated, but it is not always possible. In these situations, 2 things to bear in mind. Make the food look as good as possible, even if it is in plastic container, and never ever display the food directly on the table. This is an absolute no-go for any food client. Worst case scenario, you can use paper napkins. Last example is the hero shot in small places. This can be a challenging situation too. Some photographers don't hesitate to stand on a chair or a table. Others have to put several tables together to be able to meet the photo that the final client expects. Whatever the conditions are, try to adapt to the situation to deliver the most consistent and high-quality photos. And the number 1 rule whenever you have to adapt the guidelines is to always leave a comment on the assignment page. So both OCUS and the client knows why the guidelines have not been followed 100%, and this will ensure the validation of your photos. I really hope this video has been helpful to you guys. The goal of this OCUS live session is to help you progress and improve your skills. So if you have any question, write them down in the comment sections below or contact our lovely OCUS support team. You can now chat with them via live chat on our platform. Thank you and talk to you soon. Bye bye!